Experts, and I am your host, Sherry Creaso, and I am here with a very special friend of mine.
Oh, so special.
What a night we have for you. You have no idea. We've been having way too much fun before this show ever even started. Let me tell you, it's been going on for a couple hours around here tonight, but I am here with Jamie Grayson, the baby guy, New York City, as most of you know him. He is the baby guru of New York City, as voted by New York Magazine 2010.
Yeah.
And boy, let me tell you, I thought I knew stuff about baby products. This man has been teaching me stuff tonight I never knew. So, like, this
While
was
wearing the Brest Friends.
While wearing the Brest Friend pillow. Take a look at this, okay? Now, real men wear Brest Friends. I
Absolutely.
have to tell you. And it's pink.
If dads are going to bottle feed, you have to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what? Dads, you love it.
Yep. How many of you dads out there have actually worn a Brest Friend pillow? I know Joe did. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. He ate off the pillow.
Oh, that's nice. I always wanted it to be a little sturdier so it could be like a nice laptop desk and then a cup holder.
We definitely need a cup holder on it. For all you guys out there, I just want to welcome you. It's that night again that is such one of my favorite nights. You guys know how much I love doing this show with all of you. I am excited tonight because it is really a pleasure to be able to have the experts that I can bring to you that are going to give you the right information. You know how much out there on the internet you're going to read about, hear about, see, listen to, that is just going to be a bunch of you know what. And tonight we're going to talk to you about the real deal, about what it is that you really need to know about what products to buy for your baby. And I can tell you, there is just so much misinformation. I know I was one of them. Tonight's topic is all about what's hot,
what's not,
and what's not. And I think it's so important, when we actually come up with the ideas of like, what are we going to carry in the store? We ask a lot of really important questions. And I know Jamie does all the reviews and really gets in depth with some of these companies, even more so than I do in most cases, of learning exactly what are the best products out there. And I just felt like he's the perfect person to bring to you. Yeah. Right?
And it's fun. It's fun. A fun time.
And we're toasting tonight. So we're actually having a party. So
it's not a sippy cup. I know you're shocked.
No sippy cups, but we're not pregnant and we're not breastfeeding. So here's to all you guys. We're having a party tonight, okay? What can I tell you?
You know I'm always having wine on Twitter, so why not?
Jamie's in town and he's corrupting me tonight, guys. Yeah. He's corrupting me. Yeah, right. Okay, so anyway. Let's get started. First of all, I just want to say tonight's topic, we are going to talk to you about all the different products out there that are the best ones, how to really distinguish between what do you want to look for in a good product? What are some of the criteria, right, that somebody would be looking for when they're choosing the best products? And then we're going to go through some of the ideas that some of you guys have given us. A lot of you responded to my Facebook posts, tons of posts.
Of you.
And it was really interesting to read because Jamie and I, when we were at dinner earlier, we were talking about like what are our favorite things. And we went back to the Facebook posts and we started reading and we're like, yeah, they're totally on our page. Like people really get it.
Yeah.
And some of you really don't, I have to say. Some of you got it, some of you don't, and that's why we're here all to learn, right?
That's all right. It takes all kinds to run this earth, and
Yes, and the truth is that it is truly just our opinion, as everything else, right? So take it for what it's worth. It's opinion, and you're gonna have your favorite products, and we're gonna have ours, and hopefully we'll give you something to go home with to give you some research to do.
Yeah,
that's what I always do.
Fair.
Right? Okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit about what are some of the criteria? Because I know, when we actually shop, and we do shop, we actually do the shopping. And for me, it's about shopping to buy products for the store. For you, it's about really like finding out the best products so you can really blog about it, right?
Yeah. And I don't, for those of you who don't know me, I am the baby guy. NYC, I'm a baby planner and baby product expert, and I write for StrollerTraffic.com. And how I kind of got started into all of this crazy world.
How does a guy get into this?
I was an actor for years, as you can probably tell because I'm a character. I was on tour, and I got back to New York, and I, was kind of done living out of suitcases. And Bye Bye Baby at the time was hiring actors to be like, we want you to come demonstrate products. So they hired me to demonstrate the Bugaboo Frog on the weekends, kind of like a trade show, and just be like, this is how this amazing stroller works. And after a couple months, I just I was bored. I felt like I was shoving one product down people's throat all the time.
Yeah.
And I felt bad about it because not everybody can afford at the time
That's
the
right.
$729 frog.
That's right.
So I took it upon myself to learn everything in the strollers so that I could compare, contrast fairly.
Smart.
Read everything online. They didn't train me really at all. They told me how to use the frog.
Yeah.
And so I learned everything else on my own. I'd go to the store when I was off, read everything I could online. After I learned strollers, I learned car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, all of that. Then I started doing registries at the store once I knew everything in the store. So I would be booked for 3 or 4 months in advance with registry appointments.
Helping people do registries.
Yeah, because I was one of the only people that was very blunt and educated enough to discuss everything.
Awesome.
And I went out of town to do hairspray for 3 months, and while I was doing hairspray, before I started my own business, women would kind of look me up on Facebook and be like, what car seat do I need? And I was like, this is awkward, but it's kind of awesome.
Hey, Joe, people come in and ask Joe what kind of nipple cream they should use.
You know what?
Hey, you don't have to have nipples to talk about nipple cream, and you don't need to be a mom to talk about slang.
Not at all.
You could, or your dad is.
And it's interesting because I started in retail, I got to know the companies very, very, very well, and their vendors and everything, and just quality of product.
Yes.
I don't have kids. I am a childless 32-year-old gay man, and I learned what broke, what didn't work with different lifestyles. And to me, it was almost like doing math or something.
Totally.
So if I could tell that this couple needed A, B, and C, they didn't have to think about anything else with their registry.
Awesome.
So all these women were like, you need to kind of get out and do this on your own. So a half a year before I left Bye Bye, I started my company, and that's when I did Platinum Babies on the We Network, which I may or may not be proud of. And then left Bye Bye to work at a birth education center in New York that sadly is no longer there. And that's when I started working with doulas and lactation consultants and everyone. And I got a whole different perspective on the business. So yeah.
I think, what I think is really awesome about that, and it just occurred to me as you were speaking that, so many times when I'm looking at what's being advised, when you go on some chat boards or you're looking at experts or people who write books about baby gear that's out there, so much of it is coming from their own personal experience. Like, who cares? Seriously, who cares? And I say that all the time in the store, that half the time when I'm recommending products, I had my first daughter 9 years ago, and I did every single thing wrong you could possibly do. I bought all the wrong strollers, all the wrong stuff, and so when I'm giving advice, it is never based on what I actually did.
Yeah.
And it occurs to me as I'm sitting here having this conversation with you that you can actually be the most objective when it comes to it, because you're not actually saying, well, this is what worked for me, so it's got to work for you.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work for you because you're not doing it. You're actually looking at it from a very objective place. And so actually when you shop the show, when you walk around the show, you're looking at it from a very practical point of view. And I can see where that can really bring
It's just very different. While I was at that store,
cool.
I set up hundreds and hundreds of registries,
cool.
and I was there for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
So I had people with kids 1, 2, and 3 come back and come back and come back. And like, there's one lady who has a photo album of, she started it with when she was pregnant, took a picture of me, and then she would always come in with her daughter. We'd sit in the same place in the store, and there's an entire photo album of me and Zahara, her daughter, in her apartment.
Awesome.
I got very, very close with all these families, and I loved it.
Awesome.
And I was like, I'm getting out of theater.
I don't think you got out of theater.
No.
And I'm actually just getting into theater,
Now my costume is a Brest Friend.
And how appropriate too. The maker of the Brest Friend pillow, do you all know this? And Brest Friend is one of my favorite products. The inventor, what?
We're gonna have to have him come.
We're gonna have to have Andrew come on the show, okay?
It's
Especially
a man.
after that. It's a man. He's a single man. He's a bachelor. He has no children, and he invented the best breastfeeding pillow in the world.
Best.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, you don't have to be a dad or a mom, and you can still be a really good baby expert. So this is awesome. Okay, so let's go over a little bit of the criteria of what we would look for, because I know these are the things that I look for when I'm shopping for products for the store, and I think that it kind of applies to everybody else too, and some of the things that they should be thinking about. One thing that I can say that I always look for when I'm looking for products is to try to minimize the amount of stuff that I have in my house, so that when I can find a product that has multiple uses, and what I mean by that is, for example, there's like co-sleepers, okay? When you buy the large co-sleepers, it acts as your bassinet. I had them for both my kids. It sits right next to your bed, so the baby sleeps right next to you. I always had a hard time sleeping with the baby in the bed. It just wasn't for me personally. I couldn't relax, but I needed my baby next to me while I was breastfeeding. And then that co-sleeper converted into a pack and play later, and it was a great travel bed, and I would take it to my mom's, and it was excellent. So I didn't have to buy 2 products.
And if you're really desperate, like if you live in a small space, it's toy storage later on.
Oh, totally. Yeah, you could put like a nice toy chest. Exactly. So things that have multiple uses is something I would definitely go for. And when you start really looking at some of the products out there, you're going to see that many of them are like that, like certain high chairs that convert from a high chair
like
to...
the European style that convert from like a high chair to a toddler seat to an adult
Exactly.
seat.
I mean, the one I had, it was like this big, giant Prego...
Did it rock? Is it the one that the legs come out the bottom and it turned into a rocking chair? Because that's a great idea.
No, it didn't rock. It didn't do anything except get really, really dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had like the little ridges in it, and it would just catch all the little food, and I just couldn't keep this thing clean, and it was massive, and it was garbage, And it was just like one of those things that I never thought about because I just didn't know what to look for.
Yeah.
And by the time my child was 2 years old, she refused to sit in it, and then she destroyed my kitchen table chairs because she wouldn't sit in the high chair, and it wasn't something that I could pull up to the table, so she was always like a far away from us. So I would recommend something that you can eventually pull up to the table. They want to sit with you. They don't want to be isolated.
Sometimes you just need to make sure your table's 30 inches high. That's standard table height in America.
Yeah.
So if you have like a bar height table, sorry about it. You're getting something else. But
definitely. And strollers, when it comes to the strollers, that's a perfect example of like the new Be Ready.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it. It's what my sister and the Nuggets use. One of the ones they use.
It's great because it's great for 2 children of different ages. So if you have siblings, you have an infant and a toddler, or if you're buying it for your first baby and then you can add on to it, it's a stroller that can actually accommodate a single child and then take a double. And what they did, and this is really what was so fantastic, when I first saw it the first time this summer in the store, I looked at this thing and I said, they took every good double stroller on the market, and they took all the good features from everything, and they mixed it all together, and they took away all the bad ones. Like the fact that you can collapse it all in one piece.
Yeah, you can leave the chair right on it. It folds up, and the whole thing collapses.
The back seat folds down. The front seat can turn around and face you, just the way some of like the Bugaboos and all the other ones work, right? The car seat
the basket
goes right
underneath is gigantic.
Yeah,
it's a gigantic storage basket.
And the price point is great.
It's $600 as a single.
It's amazing. Totally amazing.
You don't get a bassinet with it. The bassinet is extra. But you know what? You don't have to have a bassinet. If you're having a kid in the winter, you're not going on walks in the park.
And that's really it. Like, having to buy products that you don't necessarily need, where you're buying extras just because it comes with it and you're paying for the extras. It's nice when you can sell it separately and you can pick and choose and kind of personalize what you need, right?
Totally.
Totally love it. So that's a great stroller that, I wound up with 5 strollers. Like I had like 5. I had, and back then we didn't have a lot of choices, so I thought I needed like that big giant pram stroller. I got one of those. It was too heavy. The wheels were falling off. No good. I wound up with like a snap and go because I needed something just little light. I needed a jogging stroller. And then by the time I got done with all that, it was like, okay, now we open the store and I got the Bugaboos in here. I got to try them out. Joe's looking at me like, you're out of your mind. We need another stroller.
Yep.
And just when I had all 5 and we were all set, I was pregnant again. Okay. And none of them were a double stroller. And so many people have been writing and asking, what are your favorite doubles strollers? Okay, and Jamie and I went over this together because I was like, I wanted to see, are we on the same page with these double
strollers? We're having some, sushi, which I don't eat. I was having, teriyaki, but
talking about the double strollers.
The double strollers, and I was like, give me the Double City Mini because it's lightweight and it does its job.
Yep.
The Valco twin.
Yep, could you add that third seat?
It's a sturdy stroller.
Totally.
And I love me some Bob.
Yes.
As a side-by-sides, the side-by-sides.
Excellent stroller. We took that stroller. We actually used that stroller, the Revolution.
Yeah.
The one where the wheel actually spins. You want to get that one where it can actually lock or spin because it'll be impossible to push it around a store.
If you're just running, get the Iron Man.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. But if you're going to use it as a stroller that you can jogging, and that stroller has such great suspension that you can do both with it. But we took it to the beach. We could work right over the sand with it, and I had my 7 and my 5-year-old in it.
They're great.
Okay, and
it's not named after a man. It's Beast of Burden for a reason.
There you go. Okay, awesome stroller. And then, of course, the Be Ready. I mean, these are all really great strollers. If I was to do it again, and I was having twins at this point, my 2 strollers that I would recommend people getting is probably the Be Ready stroller and the Double Bob.
Yeah,
those are my 2 favorites.
I'm a huge fan. There's actually a stroller. The Be Ready for 2 car seats, best thing I've ever dealt with personally. Yep. But there's a stroller not many people know about, and I don't know if you know it. I totally forgot to bring it up. Okay. It's the Stroller My Duo. I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
Yes.
It's, it's got the 2 independent seats. They face out, they face you, or they can face each other.
I had it.
And it is lightweight.
I had it. They finally redid it.
They redid it. It used to be called the Spider, and it was too wide to fit through a door.
I had it.
They stripped it down.
Oh, cool. Gonna have to look into that. Okay, excellent.
I heart them.
Okay, so multiple uses, okay? Second criteria that you definitely want to be looking for is quality, okay? This is where you do not want to cheap out, and it's not just on your strollers. Now, we're talking about good products, like products like when we're talking about car seats. Okay, specifically stuff that's going to have safety issues, okay? I hear people all the time, they're going with the cheaper car seats. It's one place that you do not want to be. You don't skip out. Because when do you need a car seat? Like, you really don't need a car seat unless you crash.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
And the thing is, people are like, there are government enforced standards that car seats do have to meet. So they're all fine.
Right. But some are better than others.
Yes, because they adhere to like different countries' safety standards. But
yes,
when you pay for a better car seat, you're getting different side impact protection. You're getting better fabric that's more comfortable.
Yes.
That also means the fabric is also easier to clean sometimes. And you know what kids do in a car? They get car sick.
Totally.
So
I've had that happen to me. It's really pretty horrendous.
And here's my secret for getting smell out of your car seats and anything else you can't wash. Mix vodka and water together in a spray bottle. No joke. It's what they do in the theater with costumes.
There you go.
It's much better than Febreze. But you use vodka and water. You spray it, and it eats the odor out.
And then you
have yourself a cocktail.
And you know what he's doing with the rest of it. I know it. Spraying vodka on the car seat.
Not Febreze.
And when your child is sucking on the fabric, you'll know why, right? Make sure you wash it after that, okay? So, yeah, no, actually, I have been through that before. You want to make sure that this is the car seats are really the place where you don't want to skimp on safety. And we're not talking about hundreds of dollars in difference. And that's where it drives me crazy. Because we're talking about, like, maybe $75 difference between a really, really good one and, like, the cheaper versions.
And it's like we were talking. It's like you'll spend $300 on some stupid diaper bag or something.
Exactly.
But you won't, not you, I'm not calling you
We're not
all
talking
out.
No, not you guys.
But people I have come across, it's we can't afford this car seat, but you just spent $1,000 on your stroller and you have this $400 diaper bag.
Absolutely. It's all about priorities, and we've talked about this. And for any of you guys who come into the store, where do I walk you? Right to the breastfeeding section and right to the cloth diapering section, because between breastfeeding and cloth diapering, you are going to save yourself somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000, and then go buy a good car seat, buy the strollers that you want. You are saving all your money, and you are providing the best health for your baby and also the best safety for your baby as well. Those are the places not to skimp out on. No used pumps, okay? No used breast pumps, and no used car seats. Okay? No.
Never use car seats.
Okay? Because if that car seat has ever been in a car accident, and even a small car accident, you don't know if it's going to function. You don't want to find out that it's not working well when you actually need it the most. Okay? That's when you're going to know that it's not working and that, God forbid, something happens. Okay?
I've actually seen them selling car seats in like Salvation Armies and everything. And
very scary.
It's disturbing.
Very scary. Go buy a used diaper bag.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it, but you know what? People don't do it, but that's what they should. Buy used clothing. You can get used clothing. You can take hand-me-downs. You don't need expensive clothing. Okay, but the car seats and your breast pumps, those are the 2 things you do not want to be borrowing.
And here's something a lot of people don't think about. It's like they think like all the clothing needs to be new and it needs to be this.
No.
But you know what? If you can't afford like crazy organic onesies and organic everything, garage sales are the best place to get your stuff because all the crap that's in the clothes has been washed out at that point.
That's true. The more washes it has, the cleaner it is. Excellent. Yep. Great idea. And if you have stains too, Really good tip. Same thing for your diapers, okay? Stains for diapers, little bit of lemon juice and water sprayed onto it when it's soaking wet coming out of the washing machine. Hang it out in the sun, and it bleaches everything out of cloth diapers and clothing, okay? So even old stains. So if you've taken out your clothes from your last baby, and you know those up the back or poop stains that, you know, they get the blowouts in the back, okay? I threw out so many clothes with my second child and not knowing, like, I could get those old stains out. Little bit of lemon juice and water, spray it on there when they're soaking wet. Even on a winter day when it's sunny, put it out on the deck, and it bleaches out everything, including your cloth diapers if you got stains on them. So
we just had a question about renting pumps is actually a totally legit thing to do.
Totally different, okay?
Yeah.
The way a rental pump works is different than a regular pump. You are actually not plugging into the motor itself, okay? So that there is nothing contaminated inside the motor, and when you rent, you're actually going to be purchasing your own hygienic kit, so that the kit itself, the tubing, the flanges, the bottles, everything that goes with it is brand new. Okay? So we're talking about two totally different things. So you don't want to share your pumps that you purchase. It's the rentals are fine. Okay? Totally different.
I notice a lot of people are actually talking about expired car seats. That is kind of controversial, to be honest, in the industry, because a lot of people don't understand it. It's about materials. It's about safety standards. You know, it's something you do. You know, I work with car seats for a living, and I still am like, I don't know why they would expire, because it's, you know.
Is there anything about the straps that can get old?
Well, they can, you know, use. I mean, things fray.
Yeah.
You know,
Plastic breaks down.
Plastic does break down. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so it happens, and
Yeah.
that's just something you do. I mean, if you know you are bringing a life into this world, you are buying a new car seat if it's too old.
Absolutely.
You know, there are certain responsibilities.
I mean, there are people who are like having their children 8-9 years later. I don't recommend that a car seat that's been sitting around for 8-9 years be used again. Okay,
No.
so that's where you really want to take a look at it. If you used it 18 months ago and it's still
That's
good,
different.
it's a totally different story. So of course, it's like situation by situation here. Okay. All right. What else? The longevity of that product.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to last you? Especially when I start looking at some of these strollers, and especially some of these double strollers. I mean, the seats are small. Have you ever looked at some of these strollers and you're like, that kid's not going to fit. Their legs are hanging over, and they're not even 2 years old yet.
They refer to it as zombie arms, and they're, you know, I'm not naming brands here yet, but there was a little stroller that came out that was supposed to be the best thing on the market, and there were flaps on the side of the stroller, and when kids were actually placed in the seat in any kind of, you know, snow coat or anything, they couldn't put their arms down, and they would have to sit like this. And this is not good posture for anyone.
I think I know which stroller you're talking
You
about.
probably do. I said it's got flaps on the side. Not many do.
Yeah, it was kind of a
but those
silly
are gone on the new model, and I love the new model.
All right.
If you're watching this.
So awesome. It's a little one, right?
It's a little buzzer.
One.
It's
Yeah,
a little buzzer.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. You want to make sure that the longevity is there, because you don't want to be buying a new stroller every year, okay? That's what I love about the one that we're actually giving away today, the Be Nimble. And I have the information here, and it's actually only weighs 14 pounds, okay? But it can hold a child up to 55 pounds. That's huge, okay? A 55-pound capacity. My 6.5-year-old is nowhere near 55 pounds.
I mean, a lot of people in stroller wise, the best option that I always give people is that you want something lightweight that can hold a car seat for travel in the beginning, but then you also want a durable walking stroller depending on where you live.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're suburban and you're like Mall of America, you don't need crazy wheels or anything, but you need a good walking stroller. And then after they outgrow your lightweight travel option, you graduate to like a lightweight umbrella stroller. And what's great about the Be Nimble
you don't have
to do your snap and go, and you don't have to do your lightweight umbrella stroller, because it combines them both.
I love that.
It's terrific.
Love that idea. The idea that you can just get one stroller to be your snap and go that will then take you as to your umbrella stroller up to 55 pounds. It's ideal. Really, really ideal.
If you're suburban and you like jog and you want a good jogging stroller for the lakes or like the parks or something, then you can put more money into a really good quality stroller instead of getting something that's going to rust out on you.
Oh, awesome. It's awesome.
Some of the best baby carriers are right around $100, and there are carriers out there that cost $200, $300, $400. But you know what? Even if the carriers that were $100 were $200 and $300 and $400, I would still say buy those because they are better. And that's one of the products you also should put your money in.
Oh my gosh, yes. When we were looking at the Facebook posts of like what are the best things, like when we asked like what's your favorite thing? What was your best investment? What was your best product that you purchased, and what was your worst?
I would say the number one thing was baby carriers.
Baby carriers.
Baby carriers.
All different kinds of baby
Yeah.
carriers, but baby carriers. And that means that moms are wearing their babies, and that's awesome.
It's awesome.
Because babies love to be worn, and moms love to wear them.
And I love to wear babies.
And I love to wear babies too. So I got a puppy because now I wear my puppy and my baby carrier. And we have pictures, and Taylor's going to have to put that up next week, right? Okay. We'll post that on my Facebook. I don't know if it's been posted on my Facebook, but me walking through the Denver airport wearing Lucky in my baby carrier. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
So I got a puppy small that I could put on a baby carrier. I loved it. But it definitely is a good investment. And I think that you need both a sling carrier and a regular carrier.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of a wrap carrier and then like a backpack style, like a, the Bobas and the Ergos and the Lilla Babies and the every other one on the market out there that's like that. That's all based on,
Totally.
the Maites and everything.
Totally.
But
they're awesome.
They're
awesome.
great.
Yeah, and babies love it because, the whole idea is that they want to feel like they're back in the womb, okay? Babies love to be next to you, close to your body, listening to your heartbeat, feeling the warmth of your body, and, they feel like they're back where they came from, all right? And they're going to feel that way. The movement of you walking around, hearing your heartbeat, listening to your breathing, and feeling you is what they want. And wearing your baby, especially in crowds. I used to do that. Like, I'd get into a crowd and I hated people touching my baby.
Yeah.
Like, that drove me crazy. And it's so funny now because I teach a class on baby care, and I have all these live babies in the class, and then I make them hand me their baby.
Yeah.
And as I'm telling them, I'm like, I hated when people touch my baby, and I'm handling
Well,
their baby.
it happens.
But they don't mind. They let me touch their babies. But I used to go into a crowd, and one key thing I can tell you is that I used to, as soon as we get into a crowd, I would take my baby out of the stroller or out of the car seat and wear my baby and push the stroller, because people tend to stay out of your own space and get their hands out of your baby's face and mouth.
And I get it, but there are those signs like, please wash your hands before you touch my child and all of that. It's just so paranoid and
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not judging any of you that have them. I'm not. But they
tend to touch their hands a lot, It's like hands.
And I'm a big fan of a baby carrier for several reasons. Mm-hmm. But one of them, my sister had twins in June, for those of you who don't know. Those are the
There goes my sign.
Those are the nuggets.
Sorry.
That's who I refer to as the nuggets, are my nieces that I'm obsessed with. And if you go to my website, they're actually babies looking over my shoulders in the pictures. But I used to wear one of them all day. My sister got mad at me because I would do that all day, just wear kids. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I'm not their mom. But when you're wearing a kid and you can look down and they're just kind of looking up at you, at your face, and they have their hands on your chest. I mean,
they love it.
That's the best.
Well, think about primitive cultures, okay? Primitive women in primitive cultures throughout time, what do? They wear their babies, okay? They didn't, cave women didn't take their babies and put them in the other cave and let them sit there, okay? No. Babies needed to be held and carried. And so we are a carrying species, okay? We are not a following species like horses.
Wheels were invented to push supplies,
exactly.
not children.
Exactly.
I just came up with that one.
I love that.
Came up with that one.
I love that. Awesome.
And I still love strollers, by the way. I'm not that AP. So
he told me he did a move with his stroller, right?
I did. I moved to a new apartment before I left for the summer, and I used the Be Ready, because I have way too many strollers in my apartment, but I used the Be Ready to move my computer across the neighborhood. Why not?
So awesome. Okay. But the other thing you want to definitely think about is, who are you buying it from as far as the manufacturer?
Yep.
Okay? That is super, super important. And so many of you are not going to know that. You have to rely on me. And I'll tell you the truth.
And you can, if you want to email me, I mean, feel free to email me. I'm pretty easy.
Totally. And he'll tell you the truth. I mean, he is going to give you the full scoop on that. That's for sure. You want to make sure that company is going to be around, that they're going to answer your questions, that your warranty is going to come through, that if they're going to make good on what they said they are, that on that product, that they stand behind their product. And I can tell you, there are plenty of times when I had products in the store that look great, that work great, but the company was a, you know what to work work with.
I'm not
and
going to
I've
name names.
I have taken them off the floor because you know what? I'm not going to pass that hassle onto you, knowing that what I have to deal with, knowing that a year down the line you have an issue with that product that you're going to have to deal with them. I'm not going to put you in that situation. So it is just as important to make sure that you're buying from companies that really stand behind their products.
Yeah. And it's, it's like I said, coming at this from such a heavy baby gear retail background, that's what I value most about my education in that is getting to deal with these companies and getting to see how the quality holds up over time.
Totally.
Because crap breaks. There's a lot of junk out there. And if a company's not going to stand behind it, I don't stand behind that company anymore.
Definitely. Long warranties are great. Warranties that replace if they need to. I have a lot of companies who, they'll say they'll make you fix it versus I'll just send you a new one.
Yeah.
You don't want to fix something.
No.
You want a new one. Okay?
You don't want to fix it.
You paid a lot
have
of money
a baby
for it.
at home. And that's something else. That's something else. I'm not naming names, but there are stores out there that are all about your baby registry is your ultimate wish list. You will over-register, put 4 or 5 strollers on it, do whatever you want, because you can always make returns, and then you have a big store credit. You know what you don't want to do when you have a newborn is take a minivan, because you're going to have to probably get one day. Admit it.
I got a truck.
Well, that's fine.
No
you're
minivan.
not going to want to lug around a car full of boxes to baby stores and make returns.
Yes. Absolutely.
You're going to want to sit around and breastfeed.
Absolutely. That's why you get your products beforehand. That's right. That's right. Okay. So what are our top recommendations of what you need when we look at like the baby products on the market? What are the top products that you definitely need to have, like the must-haves? Okay.
1. Car seat.
Car seat. Okay, you cannot leave the hospital. Do you understand that this is something you need to give some thought to while you're pregnant because it is something you will need to have in your car. You cannot leave the hospital without that car seat. It's probably your number 1 thing that you need to have, right? Number 1. So car seats. Number 2, carriers.
Yeah,
carriers.
baby carrier.
Okay? We love the carriers. And if your baby's getting fussy, and all babies get fussy, they may not be fussy the first 2 weeks, but when they hit that 2-week mark, from 2 to 6 weeks, you know what I'm talking about. They get fussy, they want to be held, and that carrier is really going to come in handy at that point.
You will wear that kid, you will turn on the radio, and you will have a dance party just like I did every single morning. You're going to turn on Slacker radio on the 80s hits, and you're going to have a good time in the kitchen.
I'll tell you a really good story once. I had a man come in, and he was a big guy, okay, and he walked in and we were just closing and he looked totally devastated, like tears in his eyes, and I said to him, what happened? And he said, I was holding my baby and I was sitting in the glider chair, and as new parents you get really tired, you're not sleeping enough, right? And he fell asleep with his newborn in his hands, and from falling asleep he actually dropped the baby on the floor. So they went and spent the whole night in the emergency room. Thank God the baby was fine, but he came in asking me if I had a carrier that would fit him so that he could wear his baby in a carrier while he sat at night and held his baby, so that if he fell asleep, that baby was not falling to the floor. Secure. So it's just so great. Babies can be really squirmy, and so if you really want to carry your baby, the best and safest way to do that is in a baby carrier. There's been a lot of controversy with carriers too. I just want to say, there were recalls on certain carriers. It was really just one.
I'll name it. It was the Infantino Sling Rider, and it was basically like putting your baby in a purse at your side.
And anyone who knew anything about carriers anywhere would tell you from the beginning that car seat, that carrier was not safe. It should have never been on the market.
Terrible.
Right? Terrible. And there's no doubt of why we had babies that suffocated in those slings. That does not mean that all slings are bad for your baby, okay? Swaddling blankets, okay? Very important that you get yourself some good swaddling blankets. All right? Now, I'm not talking about receiving blankets. There is a difference between receiving blankets and swaddling blankets. Those little things that you steal from the hospital that so many of you do. Those little rectangular things.
That's no one's swaddle blanket.
There's not a swaddle blanket. That's like a big giant burp pad.
That's why people get frustrated with swaddling, because they're not big enough.
Absolutely. Okay, so you got to make sure, and I remember last week we talked about the Swaddle Designs blanket, the 42 by 42 square. Okay, you need a big enough blanket that's going to be able to wrap around your baby, and swaddling is extremely important in those first 3 months, okay? Next on the list, we've got mattresses.
Mattresses.
Okay, very important. And you know which one I like. It's an Nature-Pedic. Okay. There is a very big difference between organic mattresses and non-organic mattresses. It is worth the investment. You want to make sure that you get an organic mattress. Your baby is going to be spending a tremendous amount of time sleeping.
Hopefully a tremendous amount of time.
Sleeping on that mattress. And they actually can measure the fumes. Okay, the toxic fumes that come out of a regular mattress is pretty disgusting. So you want to make sure that you're getting yourself a good quality mattress, and Nature-Pedic makes one of the best ones on the market.
They do.
Yep.
And, again, cost, they're a little bit more money than some of the cheaper mattresses. Not that much.
Yeah.
But if you can't get a really quality, really nice organic mattress, go as organic as you can, and then make sure your mattress pad covers are organic.
Excellent. That's definitely true.
You got to compromise sometimes, but if you can,
and the waterproof too. They made that seamless waterproof, so nothing that the pee can get in there.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that it lasts. Definitely. Let's do a few Q&A here. Okay. Let's see. Let's answer this question right here. Okay. This one was from Kate in South Carolina.
Carolina Kate 02.
It's really important. It's an important question about car seats.
My pediatrician recently told me at our 1-year appointment that it was time to turn our son's car seat around since he was 20 pounds. Our car seat is the Britex Boulevard, so obviously he can rear face for much longer. Skip. Basically, the gist of this, everyone knows. Well, info is getting out now that you should rear face as long as possible. In Europe, it has been standard for years to stay rear facing until 2, 3, 4 years old.
Even 4 years old, yeah.
The AAP now recommends rear facing until 2. So that's odd anyway.
Unbelievable.
But rear face as long as you can. Go against your pediatrician. Pediatricians might have a degree in some things, but that doesn't mean they know everything. Rear face as long as possible. The Boulevard, depending on the Boulevard that you have, it's 70 pounds, and I think I can't recall the rear facing weight limit off the top of my head.
It'll say it on the car seat itself.
And in the car seat.
It'll say it on the car seat itself.
But keep it rear facing as long as possible.
Yep. My son is 19 months and still rear facing. Excellent. Yeah. I think it's in the Netherlands that they keep their children rear facing till they're 4 years old, and they had no vehicular deaths in children in the whole year.
This is not developed yet. To support, if you are hit, it's called forward head excursion.
Yes.
And if you are in a wreck and you are not developed here, having watched the wrecks, which is actually pretty horrifying to watch.
Yeah.
The baby, you will compress and it will whip, and it is. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So rear face.
As long as you possible. Very, very important. So that was a really great question. Thank you so much, Kate, for bringing that up. Okay. Twin concerns. Okay, and maybe you can answer this question because you spent 6 months with the twins, right?
I've got great twin experience now.
Okay, we've got Becky from Texas, and she's got twins, and she says we have twin concerns. Okay, what should we pack when going out with a house with twins? 2 of everything, 2 of certain things, but only 1 of other things. Do you need everything?
Honestly, my experience with the Nuggets is your stroller. If you have a double stroller, take it out. If you're going out by yourself and your partner's not with you, or you're a single mother or something, have a baby carrier with you at all times.
Yes.
It is crucial to always have a carrier. That way, if one gets cranky, you can wear one and push one.
Absolutely.
Also, like another question here about double strollers. Sometimes you may not need a double stroller, to be honest, depending on how big your child is.
Yes.
You can always wear one, push one.
It's an awesome
And it's a very easy thing to do. It's not great for shopping. If you're out at Target or something, it's hard to go grocery shopping or,
Yeah.
But, you're also get a good big diaper bag or just a big bag.
You are going to need to carry quite a bit of stuff because you do need double diapers.
You do.
That's something they cannot share, obviously.
And you can wear 2. You can wear 2. Yeah. I've done it. I've done it many times actually. But
yeah, you can wear 2. And they're going to need extra clothes and they're going to need extra diapers. But when it comes to things for yourself, like obviously your breast pads and things that you're going to bring for yourself, you're not going to need double of that. But make sure you do get a good big double.
Yeah.
Moms tend to, especially first-time moms, they don't realize how big of a diaper bag they're actually going to need. Even with a single baby, you wind up carrying a lot, and you don't want to carry a purse in addition to it.
No.
You want to put your stuff in there, too, so you want to have a nice big bag.
And I will say that's one thing I love. I'm known for loving my Go Gaga diaper bags. I use it every day of my life.
I love it, yep.
The bag I use is huge. Also, the baby hobo that warm milk, that is a huge, nice diaper bag. It is amazing.
You'll be seeing that again. We're going to be doing another show on that.
One of the best things I saw in Vegas, I'll tell you right now.
We both agreed on that.
Yep,
one of the best new things we saw out there, and really just filled that niche that I wish I had invented myself. Really. Honestly, guys, great job. Totally great job. Okay. Let's see here. Are double strollers really necessary? Are we going to have yeah, not sure. It depends. Yeah, it depends on whether, I'll tell you what I think. I think that if you are going to have, especially with two kids of different ages, I personally, this is just a personal opinion, I needed a stroller that could hold two kids.
Yeah.
Especially as they get bigger and you're not able to carry one, but they're still toddlers. They're running all over the place. Or if you have an infant and you want to put them down, getting just like a little, what do you call them? The ones where they ride on the back with a 2-year-old. That's not going to work.
No,
you actually need something that you can strap them into, especially in a crowd.
Yeah.
And if you have an infant sitting in the stroller and your 2-year-old takes off, you got to kind of run after them.
Yeah.
You want something that you can strap them into. So a double stroller is going to be something that's good, and that's why the Be Ready is an awesome stroller because you can turn it into a single or a double. And when you have your older one and they're ready to go to preschool, you keep one stroller in the car, and it can convert from a single to a double. Awesome.
Let's see. I fell in love with the high chair a friend has, but found out it is among the many recalled products and no longer produced. What is the best high chair that will convert for my baby? There is no such thing.
It's a perfect high chair.
There's no such thing as a perfect anything with the exception of a few products I'm fond of.
Except for Jamie. He's perfect.
I'm kind of perfect. I'm Southern. So I do have favorite high chairs. I have favorite strollers. I have favorite baby carriers because they are my favorite. Doesn't mean they work for you.
No, exactly.
At all.
Exactly. And there depends on again what you're looking for. There are high chairs that will push up to the table, so your child will sit with you. If you want something that's going to go from beginning to end, from like infancy all the way to teenage, you've got the Stuka
If you need that, or the Swan.
If you need that, or the Swan, exactly.
You know what? Maybe you don't have a table and you eat at a bar. You get a Me Too or something like Phil and Ted,
Me Too chair. Let's talk about that Me Too chair. One of my favorite products.
You have to get what is appropriate for a lifestyle.
Exactly.
It's like I said, if your table's too high, you can't get a little nice like Stoker or the Swan that is table height.
Yep.
You have to get something that works for you.
Totally.
Bottom line is, there's going to get food all over it. They're all going to be messy. They're all going to be terrible. But you know what?
You know what's great about the Me Too? You could put it in the dishwasher. It can actually go in the rack of the dishwasher and be clean.
It's kind of awesome.
You want to have stuff that doesn't have too many grooves in it. Trust me, especially the grooves in the plastic tray. That was the part that I could not get the crap out of.
What people don't realize is a lot of these bigger plastic high chairs say that their trays are dishwasher safe and you can throw them in the washer. I don't know, but unless you work at Denny's, your dishwasher's not big enough to hold those trays.
You got an industrial sized dishwasher.
So, you're going to have to scrub it by hand. Take it to the Denny's and be like, here you go. Can you wash my high chair for me? It's not.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Okay. All right. So now, last question, okay?
Yeah.
What's your must-have? What do you think? Or what do you want to
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What's your must-have baby item? Go, lady.
Oh, okay. My must-have, I think I have to say, I have two. One that we already mentioned is, well, definitely the carrier and the Me Too chair. But
supportive husband.
but you're not a product. You're a partner. Okay.
I won't say supportive husbands, because what about single moms?
That's true. Yeah. See, Joe, you're discriminating.
No, your favorite product.
My favorite. Okay, Joe wants me to say my favorite product. My favorite, most helpful product when it came to my baby was my hubby. Okay, and he still is. But if I had to say, what did I buy? That was my favorite product because I did not buy Joe. Okay. The Me Too chair has been it lasted me the longest. It was something that I actually purchased before I ever had my store. We bought it from some other little store somewhere when we had our first baby. We used to walk into restaurants, hook it up to the table, and watch other couples walk in, and they'd say to the waiters, "We'll take one of those," and they go, "Oh no, they brought that with them." The other thing is a shopping cart cover. Okay. Because, oh my God, disgusting. All right.
Oh, see, that's where we disagree.
Okay, the most disgusting thing that they have done actual studies.
Gross.
Okay, that is like probably the most dirty thing you can have is the handle on the shopping cart. And I was just like really germophobic when it came to my babies. Like first of all, them touching it and every time I would look down, they were like chewing on the metal of the. Just totally grossed me out. So some kind of a shopping cart cover for me totally worked.
Okay,
that was my must-have.
My must-have products. You know, it is hard because as much
There's
as
so
I love
many.
carriers, not everybody will find that carrying a baby works for them.
Yes.
My must-haves: patience,
Yes.
a sense of humor, some kind of support network.
Yes.
My email address.
Yes.
Sherry's email address.
Yes.
It's a must-have,
Yes.
quite frankly. Carrier.
Carrier. You're into baby wearing.
I am.
Yeah?
And I'm like AP with common sense.
It has been my pleasure as always.
And mine.
And Jamie's, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You're awesome.
My
Thank
heart.
you.
Oh.
Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Have an awesome night, everybody. Good night. We are signing out. Ready?
Yeah.
Mwah.